Welcome. Today I'm talking about the essentials of facilitation. Be sure to hit that like button as it really helps my channel grow and spread to other people. Let's jump right in. Essentially, facilitation is about two things. The first category is around designing and planning, and the second one is around guidance and safety. Let's begin with design and plan. Design encompasses a few key ideas: the flow of the activities, the tools you use, the steps or processes you may have, and ultimately the goal you're trying to achieve. Let's talk about each of these pieces. First, let's talk about the outcome. Obviously, when doing facilitation, you want to have the outcome in mind. What are you trying to accomplish? What would success look like? I'm here, I want to move some steps, and I want to end up here. What does this look like, and what do I need to do to get there? So let's say the ultimate goal is to come to an understanding as a team on what we're going to deliver in the next month. So if that is your ultimate goal, we want to come up with a list of things that we will deliver at the end of this month. Great, no problem. There's our outcome. Now when thinking about other pieces, you can have that outcome in mind. So now let's talk about process. What are the steps that we would need to take to go from brainstorming all the way to outcome? I love thinking about facilitation in terms of three movements. One is the divergent steps. So in divergent steps, we're all about brainstorming, coming up with as many ideas that are broadly as possible with no limitation, no constraints. What do you think about this? What are all the ideas you have? Just throw them out there. Don't worry about if they fit. Just get more. Have as many ideas as possible, so then when you move through it, you'll have some good choices. The second movement is all about emergent. So divergent is brainstorming, getting all the ideas first. Then moving to emergent is what are the things that fit? These things are similar, these things are similar, those things are similar. Figure out which things fit together and which ones are people gravitating towards, and therefore they think there's more energy towards and would like to develop further. And the third movement after divergent, emergent, and then the last one is convergent, which is the idea of taking whatever ideas you have, turning them to different affinity groups and putting energy around it, and then coming up with one or two really concrete, well-developed ideas that can best fit the outcome you're trying to achieve. So that's kind of the process stuff. The flow could be that movement and also making sure that each of those things move in a very comfortable and natural way. And last but not least would be tools or practices. So what tools would you use? Would you be in person using flip charts and whiteboards and things like that? Is it online using things like Mural and Skype and Zoom and things like this? Picking the right tools is important to think about after you have the outcome you want to achieve and the movement and process steps that you want to use to get to that outcome. So now that you have design and plan figured out, and of course you need to practice. So walk it through with other people. Don't build this in isolation. So if I have these ideas and I figured out what I want to do to get to the ultimate goal, which is, again, we talked about as a team, what are we going to deliver in the next month? Get someone else to talk it out with. Walk them through all the steps. Walk them through the different practices. Walk them through the tools that will support this. Even walk them through the outcome you're trying to achieve. Get them to poke holes in whatever you've identified so that it becomes more robust, it's more clear, and it's a stronger and more valuable approach to design and plan for facilitation. The second big piece of facilitation is around guidance and safety. Let's start with guidance. Guidance is around how do you maintain the space? How do you make sure people are still moving through the pieces you want to get them through? From brainstorming to ideas that make sense to potentially the ultimate activity or thing you want to follow through to hit that goal. And it's making sure that everybody is able to participate, that there's some movement that makes sense, that people are connecting, that voices are heard, and so on. That's around guidance. You're kind of like holding the space to make sure things happen. And holding the space has a lot to do with the second piece, which is around safety. What do I mean by safety? I mean psychological safety, emotional safety, connecting to my heart, to my whole body. Safety is around making sure people feel that their voices matter, that what they say will stay in this room, and there are no consequences to what's happening in this room and how they're moving through it. So some of the things you can do as a facilitator include making sure everybody has a voice. So if people are naturally quiet, giving them the opportunity to talk, or giving them another way to contribute by writing down or putting it to a tool or something. Making sure the ones that are most dominating actually are less dominating in it, and so there's more balance. If there are people or individuals or managers that other members of this facilitation group or activity you're doing report into, then it's really important that those people do not go first. They demonstrate leadership by allowing others go first. Except if you're trying to be vulnerable and you want them to kind of set the stage around how emotionally safe this is, it's important for them to go first and demonstrate that they can be vulnerable so the group can be vulnerable. If you want lots of ideas, get them to go last so that everybody else can have their ideas and are not influenced by that executive or manager. Facilitation is really about moving people through a flow of activities that make sense, that build on each other, and hit an ultimate goal. As a facilitator, you are not trying to make them get a certain idea. You are trying to get them to agree on what the best course of action is right now, to come to mutual understanding, to actually experience this as something valuable and positive in their lives. And as a facilitator, it's really great because you can step out of the content, which is what they're saying and what ideas they're building on, and you can pay attention to the context, which is how are people feeling? What are the interactions? Is this working? Facilitation is one of those things that you get better through practice. And I highly recommend that you practice. Look for opportunities on your team, in your department, in your organization to help people achieve whatever goal they're trying to achieve. And as being an outside person of a department or of a team can lend itself to better facilitation because you don't ultimately care about the decision they come up with. You care more that the collective group agrees on whatever that decision is. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel as I bring in a new video each week to help you become the best version of yourself.